Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. I'm here in Liverpool. We've been here the last 2 days, and we just got a fantastic walking tour of Liverpool. And I'm here with Margot Story, great name for a guide. We were talking about that. She's with the Blue Badge guides that will take you all around and your clients. And we were with a great group, and we literally walked all the way down from the river all the way back to our hotel. We're going to go through that little tour here right now with you. And you're looking at Insider Travel Report. Now, Margot, first of all, it was a wonderful tour. I've been to Liverpool a few times, but you gave me kind of a good overview of everything that's going on in the city. And we actually started on a bus, and you showed us a little bit of, I think we saw Paul McCartney's home, right?
Yes, yeah, we went to Paul McCartney's house at Fort Lynn Road. Yeah. Told you the stories about when he lived there with his dad and his brother. Mike.
And Mike and his brother. So we saw that, and we had earlier seen where John Lennon was, and this is we were coming from actually a wonderful strawberry field. So that was incredible. But then we took the bus all the way down to the port area and talk a little bit about all where the dockyards are, because that's really become such a development now, and there's so much down there to see. We couldn't see all of it, but you have museums, you have shops and apartments and things like that. But there are so many great museums there, right?
Yeah, I mean, tourism and hospitality has become the mainstay of our economy, that and the Knowledge Quarter. We've got 3 universities, but tourism is really important to us. So we first stopped at the Royal Albert Dock, which has been there since 1846. First fireproof warehousing system in the world. We like to quote when we're first or biggest or best. Quite often we are. So 1846, the Albert Dock warehousing system opened. It allowed warehouses to be built right on the side of the dock.
And it was when sailing ships were going through there, right?
Yeah, it was important for the sailing ships. So what happened was the sailing ships would come into the Albert Dock. They'd bring in the cargoes that were imported and exported to Liverpool. So the imports were mostly cotton, tea, tobacco, sugar. These were the important things that were brought in. They were all brought up to the warehouses.
And you had new technology, stuff like, I think you said there was a special kind of dock where you could actually control the water levels and the sailing ships could come right in. Of course, when you had steamships come in, that kind of changed everything, right?
It did, yeah. So what makes a dock is a gate. Right. So as soon as you get a gate on a piece of water, you've got a dock. Right. So the water can't go up and down. But the docks did become too small because they were built for the sailing ships. Now,
we saw a couple that were, that would not have fit some of the larger ships.
Exactly, right. Yeah. We saw some docks where the sailing ships could have fitted in, but when Prince Albert came to open the Albert Dock, he came in on one of the first steamships. Okay. Which proved to be the death knell for the Albert Dock because those steamships could get bigger and bigger and bigger. So for 50 years, the Albert Dock was like the dock. It was the perfect dock, but it did become too small for those big steamships.
But then you fast forward about another century, and there was a whole other reason to have these docks where you have these, and suddenly you're developing museums and restaurants and obviously apartments. And talk a little bit about some of the museums that are there, because there's some really fantastic ones, right?
Yeah, absolutely. From the 1980s onwards, really, this new idea of Liverpool as a tourism, people started to appreciate heritage, and we became a centre of tourism. So down there at the Albert Dock, you've got the International Slavery Museum, you've got the Maritime Museum, we've got Tate Liverpool.
And that's an important gallery, which is a division of the Tate that's in London, and it's one of the few places you have a Tate.
Yeah,
right?
The only ones outside London are in St Ives and Liverpool, so very important. But we've got a connection, you see, because Henry Tate, who was the family that donated the money to build the art galleries, he was a sugar merchant, and so his sugar would mostly have come into Liverpool.
Yeah, and that's what made his money. So that's it. So here we saw the Tate Gallery. We went all over, and right around down there is also the Beatles Story Museum too that you can go to, which is a fantastic another Beatles venue, and I have been there. But then we kept on moving along, and we went to some of the there's the Liverpool Museum, which we walked into briefly, right?
Yeah, the Museum of Liverpool tells the story of Liverpool. All free to go in. All the ones I've mentioned are completely free to go in. The Museum of Liverpool tells our story about our creative side, about our trading side. seaside, about our port, and exhibitions change. Of course, there's stuff in there about the Beatles, believe it or not.
Well, and then we kept going along the port, along the river, and we came to what's sort of the three iconic buildings of Liverpool, and talk a little bit about those, because there's a name for them, right?
Yeah, we call them the Three Graces. Right. So we have the Port of Liverpool building, opened in 1806, and the Liver buildings opened in 1911. Did I just say 1811?
Well, so you can change.
Okay. 1906, Port of Liverpool building, 1911, Liver buildings, and 1916, the Cunard buildings, which was the former head office of the Samuel Cunard shipping
and
line.
Then behind it, actually, there's the headquarters of the White Star Line too, right?
That's right. You saw just at the side there, we see a red and white striped building. We call it the Streaky Bacon building, and that was the former head office of the White Star shipping line. Of course, the most famous White Star ship was the Titanic, and all the ships from the White Star ended in those letters IC, so Britannic, Olympic, and Titanic.
Whereas the Cunard all ended in IA, right?
That's right, the Lusitania, and the Carpathia, the Olympia, and so on.
And then we have Cunard of this day too, still moving around. So talk a little bit, because then if you keep on going, we had done it the other day. We went to the famous where the ferry across the Mersey, and we went on that excursion, and then that's also where you have some wonderful statues of the Fab Four, right?
Yeah, the statue of the Beatles down at the waterfront is absolutely beautiful. It's based on a photo that was taken in 1961 of them walking through London, actually. Andy Edwards, a local guy, was the sculptor who created the art, created the maquettes, and then the life-size statue. Well, actually, it's bigger than life-size. It's about 1 1/3 the height of the Beatles.
And then you can become part of the Fab Five if you want. If you just kind of like the fifth Beatle, as I said myself. Now, then we kept going though. We went down to a little more modern area of Liverpool, where you have incredible shopping, just a real vibrant atmosphere down there. Tell us a little bit about that area where you have all the shopping centres and everything like that.
So the biggest shopping centre in Liverpool is called Liverpool 1, which is basically the postcode, the zip code. It was built in 2008, opened in 2008, changed the face of Liverpool, united the Albert Dock with the traditional shopping centre of Church Street, represented an investment into the city by the Duke of Westminster of almost £1 billion. Literally changed the face. 23 architects involved in the design of Liverpool 1. All the big shops, all the fashion shops are there, restaurants, bars, indoor crazy golf, apartments, Hilton Hotel, other hotels. It's all
down there. It's all down there, and a few of our crew actually went off shopping after a while.
Yes.
So it was good to see that. And we kept on going, and we went to this one. You said it's one of the oldest buildings in Liverpool, and we had a coffee. And what was that place?
Yeah, just on the outskirts of Liverpool 1 is a place called the Blue Coat. It's an arts centre now, but it started life as a school, a charity school. As an arts centre, it's very creative. There's always free exhibitions going on in there. It's a very family-friendly place. And it's got a lovely cafe where, as you say, it was a bit cold today, so we thought we'd have a coffee to warm us up.
We had to get a coffee, and we walked up there, and we kept on going. And then we went down one block that was just this, almost every ethnic food known to man on this one. What was that street?
That street's Bold Street. It's where I recommend people go if they don't want to go to a chain restaurant. We've got plenty of, standard restaurants that people can depend on. But that street, Bold Street, is full of independent restaurants from all over the world. So if you want something from Asia, you want something from South America, and you
Mexico,
want something British, everything.
It's all there. Yeah, I got burgers, everything else.
It's got a lovely atmosphere. I think Bold Street's got a great atmosphere.
And then at the end is a fabulous church that we stopped at. And tell us about that church, because that has a story too, right?
Yeah, so that church was called St. Luke's. It's been deconsecrated, so we don't refer to it as a church now, but St. Luke's Church is locally called the bombed out church. So in 1941 it was hit by the Luftwaffe. They were bombing this very important port, and a few of the bombs went astray. So St. Luke's Church was set on fire, but the city decided to keep it as a memorial to the civilians of our city who died. But it doesn't get wasted, it gets used. We have gin festivals in there, open air cinema, arts events, all sorts of stuff. Oh, and it's now used for weddings as well. It's a deconsecrated.
And actually, right outside is a sculpture from World War I of a German soldier and a British soldier about ready to play a game of football during a Christmas truce, right?
Yeah, football's very important to this city.
No, I mean, we're talking about that. They have two teams, wonderful teams. They have Liverpool Football Club and Everton, and it's wonderful to go see that. So if you're not thinking Beatles, the other thing to do here is football, right?
Yeah, if you can get a ticket. It's not that easy. But yeah, that truce, the sculpture, the statue that you're referring to is called the truce, and it's a nod to the Christmas Day event where the German soldiers and British soldiers got together for the game of football, which is what football should be used for, to unify people.
Yeah, we should just play football and forget about it, which is kind of what the World Cup's all about, but that's another story. Now, we didn't even go down with you. We went the other night. We had a night, actually last night, a late night, down at the Cavern Club, the famous one, which actually is really still very much in use, and locals go, and great music. It's not just during the day sometimes it gets a little touristy, but at night you can go there and hear bands. They are going to play some Beatles, but they're also going to play a lot more, right?
Absolutely. I recommend going to Matthew Street, the Cavern Quarter, we call it. Yeah. Beautiful place to just go. Lots of different bars and restaurants, nice friendly atmosphere. Lots of what we call stag parties and hen parties. Yeah,
I saw a few hen parties there. You see all these girls dressed up, underdressed, by the way.
Absolutely.
British girls go out with. I'm saying, I feel like the father's saying, put some clothes on.
Well, I feel the same. Yeah.
I know. So, any other place that you would recommend that Americans go while they're here, and that you can also give tours to?
Yeah, there's a place that we didn't manage to get to today because we had limited time on the walk, but there's a street called William Brown Street, and in that area we have Walker Art Gallery, the Central Library, the World Museum and St George's Hall, and a little garden called St John's Gardens. They're right in the middle of town, but just a little bit west of where we were. Right. Lovely area to go, cultured area, so only go if you've got culture.
Well, that's her neck. We'll save that for next time. I believe me, I could go back, and actually didn't get a chance to see the museums that I'd like to see. So hopefully I'll come back again. That's about my third or fourth time in Liverpool, and I've always enjoyed it. Whether it's to see a football match, whether it's to see all the Beatles, I can immerse myself in Beatles here. It's amazing. Yes. Or it's to see this amazing history of the place, because it was this very, very important port and industrial center, and now it's an incredible tourist center. And you really an amazing guide throughout the city, and it was great to finally pull it all together.
Well, you were all lovely people to take around, and you'd always be welcome here. Come back soon.
And now, where can we go out to about 110,000 travel advisors? Where can they reach you and reach your group to sort of organize a guided tour?
It's heartofliverpooltours.co.uk.
Okay, so there you go. So you go on that website, and you too can get a great tour from Margot around this wonderful city that's just so important and such a lovely place to go. It's really, I've been here many times, well, many meaning 4 times, and I love coming up here again and again, and I can love to experience. And this time I really got a little bit more than I did the previous 2 times. So thanks to you.
Oh, thank you. Well, sometimes on a walk you see more than you do on a bus.
I do think, although you do have to sometimes take the bus to go up to. You got to go up to see the Beatles' houses and everything. They were in the suburbs, and a lot of their attractions in places like Strawberry Field and some of the names that are famous, Penny Lane and all these places are something you have to do bus.
Further out, yeah, they are a bit further out. But there's lots to see in the city centre. It's a compact city. Good for walking around.
It is good, and we just walked all the way up from the river, so that's cool. Margot, again, thank you for taking the time, and thank you for talking to us now.
Thank you. Thanks very much for doing this with me as well. It's a pleasure for me.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.